Best part of my day.
Oh man, I slept like a log last night and woke up and I was like, "Yep, still tired. Great, here we go." Okay.
I, I woke up at 10 today. I was like,
Damn, the
oh,
dream.
I know, right? And I'm like, I don't think I've ever slept in that. Like, because usually either the dog wakes me up at like 6 or 7 o'clock and then I'm just fucking awake, or
Yeah.
my wife wakes me up at 6 or 7 o'clock because of the dog. So now I'm awake, you know?
Right.
But nope,
Oh
not this
man,
time. I got to sleep in and it was great.
what a dream.
Hmm.
All right, are you guys ready to get started?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast, aka TVGP. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpeer.
Hi. I forgot to open the right window on my machine.
And the Nimp.
Hello.
Quick plug here for patreon.com/E1M1.
Ones and numbers.
$5 a month is the recommended tier. That gets you everything you could possibly want. Anything above and beyond that, of course, is greatly appreciated. Gets you, we always mention it here, The Outcast. It's the uncensored, exclusive episode where we talk about things that aren't video games typically, and usually food. We sort of tripped into a food cast again this week because
Very lightly.
Yeah, of course we did. Those episodes are always really, really great. That's kind of probably the best starting point for a lot of our Patreon content is that weekly episode. You get early access to We Work Like It and Critical Misses. You get exclusive access to the Critical Misses production meeting, sort of talking about how the sausage is made for that show, and you get exclusive access to The Wayward Sons, which is a supernatural TV show watchcast that Moon and the Nymph are going through. Continuing season 2 is cooking right along, so it's a great time to hop right into that. We don't delete any of the old episodes of that, so you can sort of hop in whenever and start at the beginning along with the two of them. Get all of that over at patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones and numbers.
Moon, what have you been playing this past week?
Well, I'm playing the parent of Louise moment right now
right,
as
Louise
she falls
the
asleep
cat.
on my chest.
For any new listeners.
Okay, I'm back on it again, boys.
Uh-oh.
Boston, get those typing hands ready.
Oh, okay.
Because we've got a
Back on your
bunch of
BS
games
again.
to talk about.
Okay.
Back on my MD, one might say, because it is the Mega Drive collection. Picking up where we left off. Landstalker. What is Landstalker? Other than horribly bad, please.
Let me look at Landstalker. I don't remember this one.
The names are so rough that you have to look at footage to even know if you've done anything with it before.
That's right. I don't think I've played Landstalker before. I feel like Landstalker is one of those ones that people remember really fondly if you played it when it came out, because it was one of those games that's so revolutionary on, like, look at how big this game is, like, look at how well translated it is, it's this cool big RPG. But if you play it now, you're sort of like, yeah, but maybe it's not.
You know what doesn't hold up?
A
10-minute opening cutscene.
Oh, you shut your mouth. That's what JRPGs were founded on.
In-game graphics. 10-minute opening cutscene.
Final Fantasy VIII would never.
That you can't skip. That you cannot skip, dude. Like,
boy, this is a different era,
Final
man.
Fantasy had banging music.
I know that intro cutscene is only like 90 seconds. It's great. Get in, get out.
Yeah, it's fantastic. But okay, I actually played a little bit of this. It made some cardinal sins. Cardinal sin number 1 is the 10-minute unskippable cutscene at the start. Cardinal sin number 2, it's isometric diagonal. So
yes,
for those of you. So generally speaking, you would think, and sometimes it takes time to get used to this. You would think that up either goes up and left or up and right.
Correct.
Down does the opposite, and then left and right do the left and right based on what the up direction is.
Right.
You think so.
You would think.
It doesn't do that.
Oh, no.
Up goes left. Left Left goes left.
Pardon?
Down goes right.
Okay. What does right do?
Right goes right.
Oh my god.
I see where this is going.
Uh-huh.
So in order to go up or down, based on my mental picture of the screen, you have to actually hit the diagonal buttons. You can't just hit up and down. You have to go diagonally.
Wow.
I was
Okay.
gonna ask, I think this is the one of those that came out when they had like the 6-axis on the D-pad, and so they wanted the whole, oh yeah, look what you can do now.
You can go diagonally. It's just like, yeah, sort of.
It's so hard to control, dude.
Yeah.
So I got like 10 minutes in and then I was like, I'm done with this, and I closed it because I hate that game.
I just can't.
Could you use analog sticks on this as well, or did you have to use your D-pad? Okay.
You can use the analog stick, but it sucks too.
Yeah.
Right.
It really did suck. It's horribly bad. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Anyway, Light Crusader is the next game, Boston. Which, stop me if you've heard this before, but it's an isometric JRPG.
Oh no.
Is it also slightly to the left or right?
No, it actually understands that up is up and right is right and down is down. It doesn't do the same stupid things that one did. And I'm pretty sure it actually does up being directly up and being a diagonal motion. So if you hit up, you just go straight up, which is diagonal relative to the isometric nature of the game.
A little better.
It starts really quick, which let me tell you, after the last game was a blessing. It's a super short intro. I think the character don't hold me to this because I'm not going to play 700 hours to beat this game to find out the truth. But the game starts with a dude in a cloak saying, I will get my revenge for how you've all betrayed me. And then it does this weird starting thing, and it looks like you're the same dude, but as a knight. So I think there's a betrayal in his future.
I see.
And there will forever be a betrayal in his future because I ain't playing that game enough to get to the end of it.
That's right. Good luck on your quest or whatever.
I'm sure. Where he's at now, he's fine. He's still a knight. He's still on a great quest to save the kingdom and so on and so forth. Yeah, so he's fine. Good. He's never going to be betrayed. He's never going to turn into whoever that person was at the start of the game saying, I will get my vengeance.
That's right.
Because nothing will ever go wrong.
It's like it's a TV show that never gets a season 2. We'll never know, and that's okay.
It's just like if you follow the Zelda timeline. You picked the timeline where he is still happy and has the good ending right now.
That's right.
I'm mad at this one right here for summoning SGU right then with TV shows that don't get a season 2.
I was more thinking about Heroes.
3,
There's just one season it was done. Alas.
Yeah, that's
what
true.
Could have been.
Yeah. What a shame.
It's a shame. Yeah.
I will say, though, Light Crusader does something interesting. It has 4 elemental magics. I'm sure you can figure out what those are. You can equip 2 at once to do the whole magic combination thing that will be lauded as like game-changing in future games.
Nice.
So the video that you're showing right now, it looks like he's got fire and grass equipped in the middle of the screen at the top.
Sorry, I'm laughing because the character in the video we're watching hits a switch, and in Genesis, like this era's wonderfulness,
the blue text font.
The blue text just says a door opens somewhere. It's like, thanks. Appreciate it.
Yep.
super helpful.
Welcome to this game. It's so rough. It does have a real quality map. I'm not gonna lie. Like the map in the game is genuinely great. But it does that whole thing. Like I was like, okay, let me see if this magic does what I think it's going to do. And I equipped fire, I equipped earth, and then I shot a comet out of my hand. I was like, yes, it does exactly what it's supposed to do.
That's cool.
So guess what? Light Crusader, maybe give it a shot, but I ain't playing for 50,000 hours to get to where I need to get to.
Well, the long play on this video is 2 hours and 20 minutes. The one for the last game was 10 and a half hours. So, super close.
but that 2.5 hours was probably that individual playing nothing but this game and then recording.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, true. Yes. Yeah. Speaking of JRPGs, what comes after L, Boston?
M.
After that?
N?
Are you...
After that?
Oh, wait, are we doing Phantasy Star?
Ding, ding, ding.
Yes.
The first
Phantasy
one?
Star 2 specifically.
Okay, yeah. Still
Oh,
good.
okay.
So I'm going to just run this down really quick because I have the same summation for all of these games. Phantasy Star 2, Phantasy Star 3, and Phantasy Star 4 are all on this game.
Okay.
I'm not playing a JRPG for 50 hours unless it's a modern one. Like,
Right.
I'm just not. I will happily buy the $8 Final Fantasy VIII remake and then put it on 4x speed and enjoy the infinite saves and potions and never forget to draw Ifrit from that boss. I will happily do all of that stuff again.
Yep.
That Boston is laughing because he has also had that trauma where you know there's a summon in the boss. You forget to draw the summon, and you never get access to that summon again.
As soon as you get out of Balam Garden and you say, "Oh yeah, Quistis gave me that thing. I should," and she said, "Oh yeah, go use that once you get out." "Oh yeah, I should use it." Whoops, I'm fighting Diablos and I forgot to save. Great, thanks.
Dude, oh yeah, the demon lamp. Oh my god, yeah, that was the biggest screw job in that
game. Save
game.
before you open that lamp, kids.
And like the first boss in the gardens has Ifrit on it. Is it Ifrit or is it Shiva? Like in them,
it's one
and
of
if
those.
you don't draw,
I think it's Shiva because you actually go and fight Ifrit, and then you get.
Oh, that's right. Well, time to play Final Fantasy VIII again because I don't remember.
Sounds like you guys' memories
if
a
you
little
don't
sloppy.
draw, you don't get that summon. Like period. Like you're done.
That's so good.
Like, it's
the worst part for me with 8 was when you did do it, but the boss wiped you. So then you went back and refought the boss, but you still remembered that you did the draw, but that was last time when you died. So then you have to fight it for a third time to get the
Yeah.
Yup.
You want to talk about unskippable cutscenes? Stupid crap boss fight.
All of that to say, I didn't put any time into any of the Final Fantasy Stars. The first one is a curiosity to me because the first one is the first-person tunnel looking thing.
True dungeon crawler, yeah.
Like that one is a curiosity to me. Based on the intro text to each of these games, I don't want to get involved in that world. Because the third one is like, yo, like 2,000 years after the heroes of the last game died, now you've got to go do this other thing. It's like, no. I don't need to. I don't want to play them. I'm not interested in it. I'm just not. And
good.
I don't know how these evolve into putting guns into guns to feed your mags to make your guns better or whatever.
Your monomates into your mags.
Always.
Yeah. It was because they made a huge change after 2.
Yeah.
Was it 3?
I really wish that Square Enix is going back and they're doing some really good remakes of the original Dragon Quest games. I really wish Sega would get somebody good to do remakes of these because I think these would be really great, and I never played a lot of these when I was young because like people don't remember these games were expensive as hell. Like Phantasy Star 4, I think it was $100 if I remember correctly.
They're also hard, dude. Like 3 caterpillars almost wiped me out in Phantasy Star 2. Like 3 caterpillars almost killed me.
And I really
feel
wish
like I'm in a YouTube video.
That's right. I really wish that they would get someone to do kind of modern versions of these and like not redo them a ton because I think the foundation is really good. But I would really like to play these. But like you said, your only option is like play the very original versions of these, and like Phantasy Star 1 is going to be one that you have a notebook drawing dungeons next to you with, and that's fine, but I'll play Shin Megami Tensei 1 instead. So
I was gonna say, get whatever group did the Star Ocean re-releases for 1 and 2.
Exactly,
because
those are good.
That's exactly what I'm looking for. You updated it so that it's got better looking graphics, but all the systems and stuff have a few quality of life, but they're exactly the same.
Exactly.
They didn't try to turn it into an action game or something stupid.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I just can't with like Phantasy Star. Like, it is a bridge too far in my exploration down this Super Genesis like hole.
Well, That's also not what you're really looking for out of this collection. You're not looking to like sit down with Phantasy Star 4 that you didn't play as a kid to play 40 hours of grinding in this ridiculously difficult JRPG. Like that, you're looking to like play Landstalker for 10 minutes.
Hey, Boston, can you pull up how long to beat on Phantasy Star 3 for me? Let's just see what that time number says. Because that's going to be scary.
Star 3. No results found. Man, boy, is that too old for how long to beat, I wonder? Ah, there we go. Phantasy Star 3 Generations of Doom, 17 hours. Much shorter than I would have expected. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's still a long time, though. You're like, I mean, it's not exactly, you know.
But I wonder, too, is that number based off of you know what you're doing? Or is it like in Moon's instance where he's fresh, never played it before, trying it for the first time? Yeah.
Well, and like I was just talking about on the We Roguelike It episode we just recorded, May 2024 has been the best month of indie games potentially in video game history. I would rather spend 17 hours playing something incredible that just came out that one person developed and charged $5 for instead of playing Phantasy Star 3, which I'm sure is fantastic, but I'm going to go play this other thing that just came out.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it would be the only thing I talked about on this show for 2 months for me to sit down and only focus on that one game. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah.
Like, those games are up here, but
those games are revolutionary, but like, not going back right now.
Yeah.
So tune in to Picking Up the Pixels with Moon.
Exactly. I'm taking those on. Here we go.
Hey, get us. I'll tell you what, patrons, tell your friends.
That's right.
You get us to a livable wage.
That's
we already have a couple of ideas in the bucket for things that we'd like to cover. I will play every single JRPG
we will stream
ever released.
So many RPGs.
Boy,
I will stream them all, starting from the beginning.
Yep.
I will find a way, and I will play them all.
Wizardry
for the rest
1.
of my
Let's
life
go.
Till I die.
That's right.
I love RPGs, but you saying that out loud hurts my soul.
It's a curse.
Because there's a lot of jank out there.
Yeah.
Get me a livable wage, and I will happily sit in this office chair.
I will dance for you.
I'll sit here and I'll do arm curls while I'm sitting there pressing the button to
attack,
go
attack,
through
attack,
text.
attack.
And then do the same thing on the other arm.
It's a Magna Carta and see your soul just leave your body.
That's right. Right.
Anyway, the final game I played in the Mega Drive collection was Rystar.
Oh,
I know this name.
Yeah.
I know this name. Is this a famous game over here in America?
I don't know if it's famous, but I know it and played it.
I think it had a really big marketing push when it came out, because I don't even know why they were pushing it, but I think there were like a lot of magazine ads for this game when it came out. I don't think it was ever super popular. Really?
It was kind of like this and Bubsy, and this won out because Bubsy was known to be garbage.
Yeah. It was that kind of era, yeah.
So they have the level intro from Sonic.
Okay.
So if the video that you have, Boston, I don't know if it'll do it on this level that it's about to do. No, it didn't. If you can, like, do some searching in the timeline here for the start of a level, it does the exact same thing that Sonic does. Where on the left it has a bar, on the middle it says like the name of the level, and then on the bottom right it's like Zone 1, and it comes in on the side exactly like Sonic does. And I was like, was this like a potential like mascot platformer that Sega were looking to increase their like. They had Sonic, they had Bubsy, they had Rystar. Like, why?
But you have to remember back then, though, that video games are purely going for that new mascot. Like, remember how like the original console wars was who's each console's mascot,
right?
And that's why Xbox always got crapped on until Halo came out, because PlayStation and Nintendo all had their own mascots, and Microsoft had nothing.
Right.
And that was like the first
Excuse me. Do not insult Blinks the Time Sweeper that way.
No, I will continue to
time
insult
sweeper.
Blinks because I would have taken
That was
Voodoo
a
Vince
great
didn't
over
get
anything
poked.
else. Yeah.
I loved Blinks the Time Sweeper.
Yeah.
Also, you might have seen it in the video, Boston, but literally exactly Sonic 1.
Yeah, it's very
Yep.
much the
No, stop.
hey, Sonic was a
it's
pretty big
ridiculous.
game. Let's try and copy a lot of that.
It's conceptually, it is very interesting. Like, I like the fact that he has stretchy arms, and I like the fact that if you kill people by headbutting them, essentially, like literally have a
Grab
face
them
made
and
of a
headbutt them.
star. So apparently, it's like headbutting them. It's fantastic. You touch anything and you get hurt, though. That's the problem.
Mm.
The challenge, quote unquote, I had to beat on this game was to beat the first level without taking any damage. It took me like 15 tries, dude. I'm so old. Like, it is unbelievable how old I am. But it was fine. It was fun. It was stupid. Like, I literally had to force myself to stop there because I was like, no, I can't keep going because otherwise I'm going to talk about nothing other than Mega Drive games for the entirety of the show. So let's call it a day there on the Mega Drive and move on to the next thing.
Okay.
The next thing, which was Little Kitty Big City. I go back to my apartment. Yay!
Yay!
You only need like 4 fish to do it. So all
that's
of
not
the
bad.
fish. It is pretty cool. Problem is now I got like 10 achievements that I need to go do some scrounging for.
Like finding all the hats and
Like finding all the hats, like
Mhm.
talking to all the people, like getting petted 20 times.
All the nap spots.
I already did that, dude. I did that
okay.
while. So the funny thing about that is I already did it because if you're standing anywhere on the map, it's a sunbeam coming from the sky. Shows you where all the spots are. So it literally has a visual indicator where the nap spots are.
although
Right.
actually right here where the video's at, there's a sunbeam on that porch in the background, that second story porch, but there's no way to nap there.
Mm.
So I'm wondering if that was just like an errant sunbeam or not.
Is that the sunbeam that goes to the roof? Maybe like
I don't know because I
like
checked out the roof too and nothing. There wasn't a button prompt to take a nap. So
I don't know the map well enough to know exactly where that person is. Like I just don't.
the construction site is on the other side of the street from there.
Okay, that bit I know. I think I spent more time in the construction site though. I don't know. It's cute. It's fun. I love the missions. Like the text is really well. The story is really well done. Like I like the fact that everybody is appropriately dialogued during the game. The chameleon might be my favorite character so far in the game. If you haven't seen the chameleon, you should probably go check out the chameleon. He is hilarious.
Do you like the crow shenanigans? Talking about how the shinies are a danger to the population and need to be handled with care.
Right.
Yeah, and then you also bump into a different cat who he has sold these lies to as well. And he's like, yeah, I used to do this, but but Crow used to help me do it for a while, and then I figured out I could do it myself. It's like, So like Crow's a problem. I see how it is. I don't know. The game is fun. It is ridiculous. It's stupid. I like it. I wish the controls were a little tighter, like a little smoother. Like the Goose and Goose game is awkward to control, but that's also because you're a goose. Right. Whereas I feel like in this, like the cat just has goose-like moments where it's just like you could turn around in this space without falling off the top of this building. Like you're fine.
Right. You're a cat. Like
but I still fall off the top of the building for whatever reason.
Right.
But I don't know. It's fun. It's stupid. How have I still got 3 games to talk about?
Oh goodness.
Don't pull up a video. The hard drive in the waveform of my life. I am at the point again where my hard drive is too full.
Sure.
So I need to beat some big games to get them off my hard drive so I can continue to buy other big games. The
next step of the cycle can continue.
Like you say, the waveform of my life. So right now I'm at the big loud peak. I need to take it down to a quiet point so I can make it loud again.
Right.
I'm playing Starfield again.
Oh, okay.
Also, I'm playing Starfield again with a reason in mind. That's something that you guys won't, not you guys, the hosts, you guys, the listeners, won't potentially learn about until the end of the year.
Did
also,
you
because I could
beat the game yet?
No.
Oh, okay.
I never did either.
I thought the last thing I remember you saying was you were really into the whole building the base thing because you had a whole system going.
I've got 25 days in this game apparently.
Okay. I didn't know I was the only one that beat it, but okay.
I'm halfway. I did one set of missions, the Crimson Fleet. I did that mission set completely. I've got them wiped out. I'm halfway through the UC storyline, and I'm just currently working on the Ranger storyline. I'm digging for gold in sand pits full of dirt because I'm trying to find the missions that speak to me, and so far the only mission that's really done that, I know everybody hates her, I know she's a problem, but the Sarah Morgan loyalty mission is one of my favorite missions in the game so far.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I'm going through and I'm like, okay, I've got your loyalty mission. I got the notification that I can't dismiss you until it's complete. I'm going to stop what I'm doing, go do your loyalty mission. Once I've done that, you go back to the lodge, and then I'm going to trade you out for somebody else, and then figure out what their loyalty mission is and go through it that way. I was with Barrett, so working with Barrett with the UC made sense. Terramorphs is still one of the worst names I've ever heard. It feels like it's a name from a 1960s like pulp comic. Beware the Terramorphs!
Exactly.
Kind of thing. And
Rise of the Terramorphs.
I don't know if that's what they're going for or not, but that's the vibe I get, and I was kind of getting a little annoyed with the Terramorph stuff. So I got Barrett's loyalty mission, I did it, I went back, and the only other person I currently have available, I think, is Sam Coe.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, okay, well, if I'm switching to Sam, I might as well just work on the freestar, like the Ranger missions, because he'll like that, and if he likes that, that means I get his loyalty mission faster. So therefore, it gives me the ease of getting to that. So I started doing the freestar missions. I find it funny that both the Ranger missions and the UC missions both kind of cross over at this one fight that happened during the Civil War. And all of their storylines on both cases so far emerge from this one location, this one fight, this one planet, into all of the after effects that we're currently facing now. I think it's a cool moment. It's a cool way to do the storytelling, because then it's looping back to something that you know based on what you've done previously, kind of thing. So, like, if you've done the UC missions, you're aware of it. But now here's a different side and a different aspect to it that you're dealing with from a different angle. I think it's cool. I am okay with Starfield so far.
It's fine.
Yeah. In a very Bethesda way, it's fine.
Right.
Like I kept saying, it was largely inoffensive. That's about it.
Right.
Well, like, I'm looking for those missions, and I think, Boston, you said this. When I'm done, when I get the achievements I need to get in this game, which thankfully they land after New Vegas, you can usually do them all in one playthrough, and that's fine. When I'm done with the achievements, I'm probably just going to go, give me 10 missions that I should see in this game, just so I can see if I've seen them and done them or not. Because, like, genuinely love the Sarah Morgan loyalty mission. The Barrett one was passable. It was fine. Yeah. The Andrasia one was pretty good too. I liked hers. Now I'm at the point where I'm building a relationship with Sam. My biggest issue with this game so far is you do not get experience points or skill points anywhere near the clip you need to get it to do what you want to do.
Yeah, especially the stuff that's interesting.
Yeah, like, I want to have more people on my ship. So the ship I spent hundreds of hours building, designing, getting the materials for, all that kind of stuff. The ship I did that with, it has slots for 9 crew members. But because my crew command ability, whatever it is at level 0, I can only have 4 crew on that ship.
Oh, God, that's right. Yeah.
And of course, the crew command one is at the very bottom of one of those trees.
Right.
So now I have to spend a certain amount of points in that tree so I can start spending points at the bottom of the tree.
Yeah.
but I'm only leveling up like once every 3 hours, and I'm getting 1 skill point. Like,
yeah,
why not give you 2 or 3 skill points? Like, because by the time you've leveled up once, you've got enough breadth to make like a headway into like 4 or 5 different things. Like, I can do commerce, I can do persuasion, I can do lasers, I can do rifles, I can do pistols, I could do shotguns, I could do ship like development, I could do piloting, I could do aerodynamics, I could do all of these different things, and I get 1 skill point.
Yeah.
Give me 3. Let me.
I have 5 trees. Like, yeah.
And each of those trees has like 5 points in the thing. Like, say what you want about Skyrim, but Skyrim, it felt like you were leveling up every 2 seconds. Like, boom, done.
Or
boom,
even
done.
like the Fallout games, you at least had this huge field of special things you could spend points in. It wasn't necessarily like you had to do them here. It was like you could just, if it's highlighted, you can just kind of spend them wherever you wanted.
It feels like the progression is too slow for the amount of space in that game, and I don't mean a pun when I say the space in the game.
But there's
I
also
mean the emptiness.
There's also like
game.
So many people that are like, well, yeah, but of course you're supposed to play it till new game plus 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 plus. It's like, yeah, but I don't want to. Like, I should be able to see it.
Why would I give up everything? Like, why would I spend hundreds of hours building a base to go to New Game Plus, to do it again,
and like, why am I not seeing at least some of the cool stuff that I could potentially invest more points into in New Game plus 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 plus? Like, I should get at least an inkling of that power or the abilities or the kind of breaking the game open in that first playthrough to kind of have that breadcrumb trail to say, like, all right, if you thought you were strong now, roll this over to New Game Plus and you can just keep investing into these cool things and break this game wide open.
Yeah, that's the thing, because I never felt like the skills or anything really added a whole lot to the experience.
Right.
Like, it was usually, oh, you can handle a pistol better now. Oh, your pistols do more damage now. It's like, okay.
Great. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Starfield is fine. It has been I don't feel like thinking, so I'm just going to do a couple of quests, find an abandoned mine shaft, and shoot a bunch of people, because the fastest way to gain experience without cheating is to literally just go and shoot a bunch of fools.
Yeah.
Like, also, how many locks are in this universe, by the way?
Many.
Everything is locked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you, depending on the difficulty of the check, you get different amounts of experience points, which I think is cool. The problem is that lock picking process takes 5 to 10 minutes. It's like, oh,
it's
no.
and then you end up with like another digilock.
Right.
And that was it.
Like, I like that hacking game a lot. I think it's a really cool system, but I don't want to do it 15 times in one small cave. Like,
no. Like, I went into a base. I just killed some pirate lady. I was on a mission for the 3 stars for the Rangers. And I went into this base, I killed this pirate lady, and then right behind her was a locked door. And I was like, cool. It's a locked door into a small room. I know, because I've seen the layout of this room like 50 times, which I'm fine with the repeating geometry. I don't know if people realize this, but when humans eventually really do start exploring space, they're going to do so with the same geometry where they pick up, put it down. It's flat pack bases is what it's going to be. Like, that's what they're going to be. So shut up about the repeated geometry and so on and so forth.
Right.
But I know that this was a small room, so I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to pick this lock, and in that room is going to be a decent weapon, maybe some credits, maybe some ammo, maybe a bunch of gubbins I can fill up my inventory with, and then put them in my ship and then sell them at a later date.
Yep.
I pick the lock, I go into the room, and there is 4 weapon chests, and like 2 ammo chests and a safe. So then I have to pick the safe to get what's in the safe, which ends up being credits. And then I look down, and every single one of the weapon chests is locked.
Oh, God.
Why are they locked in a locked room?
Right. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Frustrating.
Anyway.
Did you notice any changes with
Starfield.
the update? Because I heard that
It runs,
got an
it
update
runs
recently.
so much smoother now, but I have it
That's
on like
good.
frame rate mode.
Okay.
Like it hitches a lot less. I did turn it over to performance mode and then immediately went to like 15 frames a second. It's like, nope.
Mm-hmm.
Or rather, I
get
put
out
up
of here.
graphics mode and went to 15 frames, and I was like, I'm going to change that back to performance, and then just let it be. Because the
Yeah.
game still looks good. Like I do think
Right.
it looks good. But it seems to run smoother, like much smoother.
That's good.
It's still got all the Bethesda tropes of you have to wait for someone to sit down and then stand up so you can talk to them or not.
Right.
People are looking at you like side eye over the shoulder when they can't turn around. It's the usual Bethesda junk, but
Yep.
that's fine. Starfield is whatever. Okay, 2 games left. I'll talk about this one first, and then we'll end with the shocker of them all. I played Lethal Company on Friday. It was old school crew. It was myself, Ash, Rob, and Justin. We had fun. It was enjoyable. We played around with some mods,
As one does.
as one does. So, hey, Boston.
Uh-huh.
You're I don't know if Nimp will have this experience too, but you're definitely from the time frame. How'd you edit a config file?
Oh, I usually just nowadays I do it in Notepad++, but usually just open up Notepad and start editing.
Yeah.
Yep, there we go. Notepad doesn't exist on Windows machines anymore.
You can still install it though.
Yeah, dude, you can.
I have Notepad++ on my machine.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a thing until he literally just said Notepad++. I don't know what it is, but that's fine.
Okay.
It's just like a fancier Notepad app.
Yeah.
Because I ended up trying to open it with one of my open source Office suites
boy.
that I have. It did not go nice.
No, they don't like doing that.
It just flat out failed. Then I realized something else. So we have talked about the modability of Lethal Company a lot. How easy it is, how cool it is that literally I can give everybody a code, then everybody gets the same mods and the same status that I have them in. It's fantastic.
R2 Mod Man is great.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. If you go into that program, there's an edit config files button, so you can literally open the config files in the program.
That's
for
nice.
every single thing, and it tells you what the edits do.
That's
so
great.
It's like,
wow.
This is the text in the config file. Here is a description of what it affects, and then you can just toggle it to true or false.
Wow.
It is shockingly simple. So anyway, I got an emote. Way too many emotes is what it's called.
Perfect.
It's like that. Way too many emotes is.
You know, I appreciate the honesty.
I thought they were joking because when you load it up, you have 20, but you can buy emotes in the shop for a different currency than your regular currency. So it's a different currency that you just gain by playing the game. In the mod description, it says optional.
Okay.
For the store version. So I was like, okay, well, we're just going to play around with it for now, and we'll leave it there. There is a particular emote that we found that I fell in love with that I cannot talk about on this show because Boston is a part of it. I cannot talk about it on this show because Bilsiford listens to it. I cannot talk about it on this show because Torek listens to it. If you have played Lethal Company with me, you will be exposed to this particular emote.
And it has to be a surprise, it sounds like.
It has to be a surprise. 1,000% has to be a surprise.
Okay. The surprise emote.
It was literally the best thing that happened all night was this emote. We couldn't stop. Every single time we weren't doing something, this emote was out. It was, and everybody was doing it. It was incredible. We did the usual stuff. We had a bunch of runs, whatever. I'm going to go back to this in a second because I need to redeem myself from last week here.
Okay.
Well, after everybody had left, I was like, I'm just going to play with these config files for a while and see what's going on with this too many emotes. See if there's a way I can like make them super cheap or different options in the shop. See what's going on.
Get up to some mischief.
I turned off the ability to buy the emotes in the shop.
Okay.
Now you just have them all.
Oh, okay.
All 267 of them.
You know, that might be too many emotes.
Too many emotes.
They're right.
Saying. They're 100% they're right. And I don't know. Some of these are cultural references that I don't get because they're not in my culture, so I don't understand.
That's
it.
even better.
There is dances. The funniest one that we found afterwards was myself and Ash were messing around looking at the store before I haven't looked through all 32 pages of emotes.
Understandably.
I didn't have 6 hours on my hand.
Right.
So I haven't looked through them all. But the one that Ash found in the shop was "The Bird is the Word" from that
Family Guy.
Family Guy.
Great.
And it's that dance.
Right.
With Peter singing "The Bird is the Word."
Even better.
Nice.
It is atrociously funny in so many different levels. But I loaded it back up and then I saw the 32 pages of emotes. I'm closing this game. I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to go exploring through it all. I'm going to leave it. And the next time we all play, none of us are going to do any form of mining. We're just going to play, or any form of scrap gathering. We're just going to play with emotes for 5 hours is apparently how this is going to go.
That sounds like an incredible time.
So I'm excited about that. I'm looping back to actually playing the game now because I want to redeem myself. Last week, you may have heard me talk about running into one of the modded enemies that are new in the game because I modded them in to see what they were like, and how I was legitimately terrified, like foot tapping, eyes watering, terrified of the thing. And how Rob was so kind to make fun of me of being like, I heard the terror in your voice.
Scared of a bunch of polygons.
It was hilarious.
Yeah,
it
real
was
baby hours here.
Much fun. So this week, you already know where this is going.
Oh, I sure do.
Boston certainly knows. Rob bumped into the thing, and he was the only one who did. Nobody else bumped into it, only him.
Rob bumped into a healthy dose of karma.
100%, because we're all just exploring in our own different ways, and he comes running down the corridor towards me, and as he's running down the corridor towards me, he's like, as quickly as he can, he's like, I saw the thing that screams, we need to go now. I didn't even get to say, I told you so, because I was like, isn't it interesting, the fear in your... And before I even finished my sentence, he was like, yeah, I know, we gotta get out of here. He didn't even let me get my comeuppance in.
I thought you were going to say it walked into the room and ripped your head off, and then Rob was alone again.
A 2-for-1 special.
It was... he wouldn't even let me get my I told you so. I didn't get that.
That's half the fun of it, is getting your I told you so out. And then dying.
Yes.
I told you what?
The Brackens were on a tear this week, really bad tear this week. But I had so much fun. It was great. It was fun. It was fantastic. Now that I'm playing with config files, it's a totally different ball game and more dangerous.
Nobody's safe
because now I can. Because I was talking to Ash about this, Nimp. Like, since the day you started playing it with us, I have had that SCP level installed.
Yeah.
Since the day you started, and we have only been there once, which tells me that the quote-unquote spawn ratio, or the percentage chance for you to get that when you enter a building, is probably set relatively low. Now, I just got to find the name of that mod, the config file for that mod, and juice those numbers a little bit.
That's right.
Playing a dangerous game.
Right.
Yeah. As if Lethal Company wasn't dangerous enough as it was. Now it's just going to get about 10 times worse. Boy. Anyway, Lethal Company is great. Check it out. Join us on Fridays. Whatever. You know what to do. My final game this week. Our last. Moon stops talking because he hasn't finished talking for an hour now. It's Aliens Dark Descent.
Okay.
Are you telling me you don't know what this game is, Boston?
No, I do. That was not the game I was expecting you to have played.
Did I play something else that you've seen me play that I
No.
didn't
I
know
just
about?
it's not the game I was expecting you to.
Was not expecting another Alien game anytime soon.
Right.
So, for those of you listening who don't know, Aliens Dark Descent is a real-time XCOM-like strategy game where you have a squad, you're working your way through a map, you have abilities, and it's set in the Aliens universe, which I am a big fan of. My Xenomorph shelf behind me says hello.
That's right.
Or depending on what language you speak. I love this universe, and because of the universe and how much I love it, I obviously have a deep connection with the sounds, the feel, the vibe, the design. Everything about this franchise is right in my wheelhouse. So I got an email notification on Monday. Hey, it's Xbox. 4 games on your wish list are currently on sale.
Hey, buddy, it's me, Xbox.
And I was like, cool, 4 games on my wish list are currently on sale. That's great. This might have been last Monday, maybe. I don't know. Probably this month. Time is a disease.
Yeah.
And then that same day, I got a text message from a friend of the show who also has a similar connection and vibe with this franchise. Boston already knows who I'm talking about. It's Mackie. Of course, it's Mackie.
Right. Hey, it's me, Mackie. Aliens is on sale.
His message to me was, somehow I'm the only person on my friends list who's played Aliens Dark Descent. At which point I responded with, that's weird that you say that, because I got an email this morning saying that it was on sale for 50% off. It's a $40 game, by the way, folks. So $20 for a $40 game.
Pretty good price.
He was like, yeah, I know. There's a reason why I'm sending you this message, because apparently he also had it on his wish list and he bought it.
There you go.
This game is brutal.
Oh.
Because in this game, you control a squad of Marines exploring infested areas.
Oh, that's going to go well.
Uh-huh. So well, in fact. So this game has an interesting mechanic. It has a stress mechanic for all of your Marines.
Okay.
So when you go into an area, you are undetected. The aliens, the Xenos, whatever you want to call them, they don't know you're there. Your map is a motion tracker, which does the appropriate motion tracking noises.
That's really good.
And as you're exploring, if you accidentally go into a part of the map where one of the Xenos is, and they see you, you can kill a Xeno. A Xeno is fine for 4 Marines with pulse rifles with that noise to appropriately take down. But then you're spotted by the Hive, and the Xenos come hunting for you.
Gotcha.
And as soon as you get in combat, or as soon as you're being hunted, your stress levels for your Marines go up.
Understandably.
After you've been away from the Xenos for a certain amount of time, then they go back to not hunting you anymore because they're assuming that you've left the area, and you can explore abandonedly. Data pads, ammo, tools, a whole bunch of other stuff that you can get. But you're trying to go through, do your missions, and do it as stealthily as possible. Because the longer that you are in hunted mode, the map has an aggression rating.
Oh.
And when you start the map, it is quote-unquote easy. The longer time you spend in combat, the longer time you are spotted by the aliens, that map difficulty ramps from easy to medium to hard. And more Xenos appear on the map as you play and get spotted. Like that kind of rate. The problem is the more you're spotted, the more stressed you are. Now, the stress has multiple tiers. I know for a fact when it goes to tier 2 and you leave a mission, your Marines get trauma.
Okay, so it's a lot like Darkest Dungeon, where like the worse it is and the longer you're under the stress, that the longer effects and the worse it kind of compounds.
Yes, and you end up with like trauma effects, which literally will produce negative effects for your Marines. So, in a firefight, they may panic, and reloading takes 2 seconds longer than it normally takes.
Interesting. Okay.
So it has this whole ebb and flow. It's very stealth based. Like if you're not interested in a stealth RTS, walk away.
This is
like,
not like a
don't...
third-person action shooter. Like
Nope.
this is you're taking
Nope.
time in a mission.
If you run, the aliens can hear you run. If you take a shot, the aliens can hear you take a shot. Gotcha. If you have to use C4 to clear a hallway of debris because the colonists have rightly barricaded the way, not knowing they're in the vents. If you have to do that, the Xenos will come and investigate that area.
Interesting.
And like see what's going on. You could weld a door shut, and like if you're in a room, you can weld the door shut and give you guys a rest, and that will like lower stress levels. But the way this operates is you go to the location, you do what you can, you evacuate using like a little like armored vehicle, not the APC, but like an armored recon vehicle, let's call it, I think it is. And then when you leave the mission, you go back to a home base, which is a crashed spaceship. All your XCOM trimmings are there. Your barracks are there. Your tech is there. Your research is there. Your med center is there. All with their own aliens universe, like, you know, usual stuff. You send your Marines to the med bay. You pull out a different squad of Marines. You go back out to the mission. Your progress in that map is saved. So all of the missions you've done are saved. So you can go back, redeploy on the same map, and continue doing the same. Like the same story missions. When you do that, days pass, so you can deploy one unit a day, essentially. So you deploy the unit, they go out, they do the thing. When they come back, you need to send the appropriate people to medbay, get your new Marines out, spend your currency, your equipment, materials, whatever it is, to upgrade appropriately. They also have experience bars, so they can level up, they can become qualified to be different types of Marines, very much like XCOM. So like you got gunners, techies, recons, sergeants, exactly like the sergeant from Aliens. So he's all about like bolstering up everybody's like morale and bravery kind of ratings.
Yeah.
But then the days pass as you're doing that. So remember in XCOM when you pass a day and like suddenly the aliens have like encroached a little bit more and their like spots become harder. It's that, except it's called an infestation level.
Oh, okay.
So the longer you wait to do things, the higher the infestation level of the planet becomes. So the more Xenos you'll see on the maps, the more problems you'll run into on the missions.
Wow.
And then in accordance with that, the more terror you're going to get, the more stress you're going to get, the more trauma you're going to get, the more trouble your Marines are going to be in when they come back from the missions.
Right.
I really, really, really like this game.
This sounds cool as hell.
A lot. And it was like $20. It's a $40 game normally, and I kind of regret not giving them the $40 at this point. Because I cannot tell you, I mean, you've got the video playing on the stream, so you can tell me, like, the lighting is so good.
Yeah.
Like, as you're going through the maps. And my favorite part is, like, you can tell them to run places, or you just hit the button once and they walk. But as they're walking, if you hold the Y button, they shine a flashlight wherever you're pointing the mouse cursor. So, like, you can have them walking up one path, but shine a flashlight behind you and around you to just double check and make sure there's nothing hiding in the dark, we'll say. Like, I don't know, an egg full of face huggers. It's super tense. Like, it's been super... I think my average mission time is 1 hour and 2 minutes each mission. Like,
it looks like one of those games, yeah. Each
time I go on a deployment, it's like 1 hour and 2 minutes. From what I understand, it does autosave whenever you rest in the map, so you don't have to do an entire mission and come out. All you got to do is weld yourself in, take a rest, and it does an autosave right there for you. From what I understand, Mackie is running into a bunch of bugs with it, which I haven't really run into any so far. There is no by default, there is no pausing this game.
That's
So
interesting.
there is no turn, there is no nothing like that. You have a special abilities option, which is when you use like command points to do things like shoot this alien with a shotgun because he's 3 feet away. Please do that right now because otherwise we're going to be in trouble. There is the usual typical things like certain aliens will explode with acid blood all over everybody. Certain aliens will try and abduct your Marines and take them off to be taken care of in that manner.
Right.
Facehuggers can get on your Marines. Like you have to be careful everywhere you go because it's real easy to suddenly get a facehugger on you and you don't even realize it. There is an option that pauses it when you pull up that special ability menu, which I chose that option because I want the time to breathe and I want the time to think. Normally, by default, it just goes into slow-mo when you're in that menu, which is a cool thing, I think, but I need the pause. Like, give me the pause options.
Yeah.
And, of course, you can do the whole thing. Like, you can take sentry guns in with you and set them up, and then they'll take care of the business. You have different motion trackers, which you can place around the map, which spend command points to do, but command points regenerates. Like it's a skill point that regenerates over time. So like it gives you full coverage of the map, so you can really start seeing, okay, I'm on this side of the map, but there's an alien, a Xeno on the other side of the map moving around, and then suddenly there's 7 of them moving around, and you're just like, I don't want to go over there right now. Like we might think about coming back later. It's really fun.
That sounds really good.
Such a good time playing this game. And I'm not an RTS guy. I'm not a turn-based strategy guy. That's not my regular go-to. I literally got halfway through XCOM before I got annoyed with it and turned it off. I just love this game.
This looks really cool.
The tutorial is long too, so take your time if you're gonna get into it. Like the tutorial is pretty long. But like the very first mission is you go into this town and you're trying to figure out what happened to the town. Spoiler alert, you already know what happened to the town. Everybody knows.
Yeah, you know the name of the franchise.
That's right.
Yeah. And then in order to get what you need to potentially try and find a way off the planet because your spaceship has crash landed, no flight for that thing, you need to go into the local mines.
Oh, good. Perfect. Yes.
I'm sure you guys, as knowing the franchise,
not a ton of facehugger eggs down there or anything
in the mines.
Yep.
It was super tense, super hardcore, really interesting section because like you go from like when you're in the regular like area, you can just go in rooms and like, okay, I'm just gonna stand perfectly still in this room and hope that Xeno in the corridor just goes around me, not into the room with me. In the mines, there's no rooms. It's just mine shafts.
Yeah.
So you'll get spotted real quick, and then that's when problems arrive because this one comes at you, you kill that one, then 3 more hear it, then they come at you, and then 5 more hear it, and they come at you. Before you know it, you're stressed out, everybody's losing their minds, and you don't know what's going on, and people are screaming, let's get out of here, before you even realize what's happened.
Right.
I like this game. I like it a lot.
It's cool. Aliens Dark Descent.
Yes.
It's cool.
Hopefully more people on my friends list will start playing it now because it's really good. But that's all I've been playing. Nimp, take it away.
All right. Speaking of games that we like a lot, I went through New Game Plus on Stellar Blade and completely beat the game again.
Dang, nice.
It's a lot faster when you have everything, pretty much. I did go through, I've got maxed out stats and all that, so that made it a lot easier. There are 3 endings for this game, and I'm going to do slight spoilers, but not story-related spoilers. There's 3 endings to the game, and they're dependent on how much of the game that you actually complete. And then there's a choice towards the end of the game that you make that also contributes to which ending you're getting. So this last one, because I already did most everything in the first playthrough, I went back through, did most everything again because I was collecting all the costumes. There's only a trophy for collecting 30, and I think I've got like 60-something right now because there are just like the color swaps of, okay, if you go back to the same location that you found the original costume in, you get a color variant of that same costume. now.
And they keep every update or so they keep putting in like 1 or 2 more costumes too.
Yep.
So
With the boss rush update, they added you got 2 for free, and then there's one that you have to actually beat all the bosses on normal or higher, and then you unlock a new costume as well through that.
Oh, okay.
So, and that was all free. Haven't had to pay anything extra yet. So my second playthrough, for some reason I decided I'm just going to do everything again. Did all that. I've got all the cans. I have all the original versions of the costumes, all that fun stuff. And got I think it's considered the normal ending now. And it's like, all right, cool. So now I have another perspective on how the game could have ended. And my next and final playthrough is going to be don't do anything, don't touch anything. You're just hitting the mainline quests to proceed with the game. And then that should get me the bad ending.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
And hopefully that doesn't go terribly long. Because I'm already back in the wasteland. I just started my second new game run last night, and I'm already back in the wasteland, which is a couple of hours. So just, I'm just having a lot of fun with this game.
Yeah.
And there's talks of there being DLC. There's talks of them already starting to work on a sequel, which is great. And I just look forward for them to release another game, really, at this point. The boss rush stuff that did come out, because I did beat my second new game, or my first new game plus, I unlocked one of the final bosses that I didn't fight before, which added them to the boss rush, so that way I could get all of them and do and get the new costume.
Oh, okay.
The boss rush is pretty much set up where you just pick what boss you want to fight, and then it sends you to just before where that boss fight is. You walk into their arena and you do their fight like normal. The only thing that sucks about this is that you do not keep your I forget what it's called. I think it's your beta skill. The things that you use to be able to use your skills, your beta charges, I guess. Those are always empty when you start one of these. So you have to go in and start building those up so that way you can start using your skills. And it kind of sucks a little bit, because every boss fight I go into, I make sure that I have that stuff built up. That way I have options available.
Right.
And it's real rough starting out, especially like in the beginning, like pretty much all the bosses until you get to the last 3 or 4 bosses. All those bosses before that, it's fine. You can get to it. But once you get to like the final last 3 bosses of the game, that's when it's like, man, I would really love to do a skill right now to stop this attack.
Right.
I don't have anything built up right now.
Right.
A lot of those bosses too all have one-hit kills that you can prevent, but there's usually a bunch of stuff coming on that you're fighting with, and it usually involves your gun, and aiming with that is not great. Even playing with the settings, like I just can't get it so that it feels good. It always feels like I'm either going too far too fast, or I'm just taking forever to get my little dot to go where I want to shoot.
Right.
So, but yeah, just ton of fun. I just need to go one more time because I'm only missing getting the bad ending, and then I get the platinum for the game.
Nice.
So just having tons of time.
Yeah.
I just need more time. That's all.
Don't we all?
But because I spent all week playing that, the only other game that I played this week was Eiyuden Chronicles 100 Heroes. Because it is on Game Pass. This is not the demo, or not even the demo, like I don't even know what you call it. I guess the previous game that they released 2 years ago, 2-3 years.
Platformer thing.
Yeah, where it was like a Metroidvania kind of game. This is the actual Suikoden type RPG that came out. I'm only 3 hours into this. I beat the first dungeon that they send you into, and it's fine. It plays like a classic RPG, and what I mean by that is you're not making huge stat increases when you level up or when you equip things. You're usually only getting like 1 or 2 points towards a stat. There is an armor piece that I found that gave out the max so far that I've seen, which is like 5 points to defense.
Gotcha.
So everything's pretty low. So I'm guessing this is going to be based off of like the low stat end of RPGs, where it's like your max health is 999 kind of thing. Which I don't have an issue with. We just don't see a whole lot of those.
Right.
So completing the first dungeon, the two bosses that I have fought so far, they both have gimmicks. The one for the first dungeon, it was a golem thing that you're fighting, and you have the ability to choose to either attack it or it knocks down like rubble at some point. You can choose to hide behind the rubble. That way, when it doesn't attack, it doesn't hit you. The problem with that one in particular was just that you have 6 characters in your party, so they're spread out 3 in the front, 3 in the rear. And it picked the 2 in the middle who didn't have the option to go into cover. It was basically the 2 on the left and the 2 on the right could go into cover, but the 2 in the middle couldn't do anything. It was like, cool. So I put them in defense. Didn't even bother to put the others behind cover because I was like, it only selected those 2. So I was curious if it was going to hit all of us or just those 2. And it stuck with the 2 that it selected. Like, okay, there's at least that saving grace. But the next boss that I fought to get another character, because you eventually get the objective to, hey, go start recruiting people. And I found Melor, who is the magic girl that you find in the other platforming game briefly.
Oh, nice.
And she is still up to her shenanigans. And we followed her to an area, get through that, and at the end there's like a mole boss. And the gimmick for this fight was that she has 2 books of justice to the left and to the right of the battlefield. And the mole, at the end of the turn, will always dive into the ground, and you have to guess, is it going to pop up on the left side or is it going to pop up on the right side?
Oh, okay.
And if you guess correctly and you hit one of those books, they have the chance to do a bunch of damage and possibly stun the boss. But if you hit like the left book and it popped up on the right side, it just misses. It doesn't do anything, and you lost. That character just basically whiffs. Didn't like that a whole lot. I'm thinking I may have been pretty under-leveled for that fight. I still managed to beat it, but I was pretty close to being out of potions and revives at that point, and I only had a crew of 5. So it took a lot of time, but I did get it. But the battles are all set up as random encounters. You don't see them on the map. It's just you keep walking, and then you get the flash, and then you jump into a battle screen. It does the timeline, where it's got the timeline at the top of the screen of who's going when, in what order. But the weird thing is, I haven't seen this happen with another game so far. No matter what the order is, you tell all of your characters what they're going to do, and then you proceed, and then it just plays out. And that order goes. So, like, if you had 2 enemies that were going first, they will do their attacks, and then it will go through your party of whatever you told your party to do. And I haven't seen that before. It's not really an issue.
A little different.
But yeah, anytime I've ever seen it, like, I was expecting it to be like, okay, whoever's up first, that's who I'm commanding.
Right.
Until it gave me like the whole list. I'm like, oh, okay, that's weird. Hasn't caused an issue yet. The strategy is still the same. You're still trying to knock out whatever enemy's up next before they can actually attack. That way you're not taking damage from them. Your characters all have the standard attack. Some of them have defend. Some of them have evasion as an option. Or dodge, which basically increases their chance to evade, which is also kind of weird because it's not. I've only had like 7 characters to kind of play with a little bit, and I don't know if each character comes in with their own type of defense or how that's playing out with this. I didn't keep up with this game at all. I kind of wanted to keep it as a surprise as I was checking it out. So that was different. Everyone has I think they call it like a ruin lens. But depending on the kind of ruin lens they have, it depends on, okay, are they drawing from an SP meter or are they drawing from an MP meter?
Right.
And all the characters have both, but the only difference seems to be that SP after every turn will refill itself by 1 pip. Magic does not refill itself at all until you go and rest or if you use an item.
Oh, okay.
So I had the game when you go into the first dungeon, it gives you a lady who is who has like a bunch of healing spells, and they're all MP, and she has no skills that use SP.
Interesting.
So I haven't found anyone that has a mix yet of both. It looks like that is something that can happen later. I just haven't gotten to a point where I've been given that option yet. But outside of that, with the battling, there's also hero chains, or hero combos, where I guess once characters start to interact with each other more, you basically unlock where they can both put in like SP and then they do like a combo attack with each other.
Okay, kind of your
And
classic Chrono Trigger style.
yeah, and I don't know if the damage is worth it or not, because they both, depending on who you choose and who's doing what, both of those characters are now locked into doing this. And they both submit a certain amount of SP for it. One character can do 2, the other one can submit 1, kind of thing. But the damage output for what I was getting from one school was just barely better than what individually those characters could have done together.
Right.
Or, by themselves. So I don't know if it's worth it yet. So I'm assuming that eventually those will start to get better as the game progresses. Like I said, I'm only 3 hours in, so like this is all just, hey, this is what the game threw at me so far.
Yeah.
Leveling up does not heal you, just in case anyone cares. But ends are free.
That's nice.
Yes. Ends are also where you save at. However, there are save spots within the dungeon that you can go to and save. So that's not a huge issue. There is equipment for basically like your head, body, possible shield if your character will use a shield, and then accessory. But their weapons, it does not look like you're buying new weapons. It looks like you're just improving the weapons that they come with.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of like how the game was for the platformer version, where it's like your main character used basically like ice pick axes for her weapons. You never buy her a new set of ice pick axes. You just keep improving those axes, and they just keep better, and they do more damage. And
that makes sense with how many characters are in this game. Like, why would you make like 500 weapons when you can just make 100?
Especially since most of those people are going to be using the exact same weapon anyway. So, right now, the first area that I'm in, the blacksmith that I went to, they don't need items to improve the weapons. They just need a certain amount of currency to do it.
Okay.
And right now, at this town, that blacksmith maxes out at 3 for weapon levels. And it shows that they can be improved by up to level 4 so far. And the blacksmith had even said that you just need to find a different blacksmith somewhere else to keep improving your weapons.
Oh, okay.
So I'm guessing that's how they're kind of gating progression for the weapons. Is once you've gotten to the new area, that blacksmith can probably do like 3 or 4 more levels. That way you're not just sitting there pumping, money into your weapons. You've got them maxed out before you even move on. So, let me see. That's about it, really. It's a couple items that I've picked up have hinted that there's going to be town building, which would make sense considering that this has like the Suikoden lineage to it. So I haven't gotten into any of that yet, but I have. You haven't
found your home castle.
Yeah, but I have picked up like lumber and stones, and in the descriptions it says, "Oh, goes towards building a town." Like, all right, well, I'm down for that, depending on how that goes. I mean, Dark Cloud 2 has kind of set the bar for town building, and no one has really come close to that since.
Pretty much,
and that was a PS2 game. So. Right. But yeah, so far, I'm enjoying it. I just needed something that wasn't like I thought about going back into Liza P, but I'm like, not really wanting to deal with Eldritch horror crap right now, and I just wanted something that was bright and colorful, and this flips the bill for that so far. So it's been pretty challenging. I'm playing on normal right now. You do get the option to choose normal or hard. You can also customize the difficulty as well. Like you can't use healing items, or you don't heal up using doing this or that. I'm like, no, I'm just gonna play it on normal. Thank you. I think there was like 4 or 5 things that you could adjust if you wanted to, and it was basically just yes or no. But I know like the healing item was one. Like I think it was you couldn't use it in combat or you couldn't use it on the world map for items, kind of thing. So if you want that kind of difficulty, it's there. I currently don't.
No, yeah.
Because I've played hard, like we just talked about with Phantasy Star Online. If I want to beat my head against an RPG, I could. I don't. That's not what I'm looking for right now.
Right.
So yeah, I am gonna keep playing this. It's been fun so far, and that's about all I really have to say about it. Nice. So I can't wait to see the other 90 some odd characters that I need to figure out.
Right.
And so far too, everything's been voiced too.
Oh wow!
Not with like minimal NPCs, but like a lot of NPCs that I've interacted with, everything has been voiced.
Oh wow!
So that was kind of surprising to me as well, because I didn't think that was a direction they were going in.
Yeah.
But so far, really good impression with the game. So that was Eiyuden Heroes, or Eiyuden Chronicles 100 Heroes. There we go.
Yeah.
So that's all I played this week.
All right. I'm gonna blow through most of mine here. I finished and platinumed Cat Quest. Getting the platinum for that took just shy of 10 hours. And nice. The rest of the game was pretty much as you expected. You're just kind of largely doing the same thing for the rest of the game. If you're looking for a kind of chill, fun, straightforward action RPG, I think you can't really beat this thing. I actually really liked where the story went. There was some kind of fun twists and turns here at the end, and it stayed. I think the thing I like the most about it is it lasted exactly as long as it needed to. By the end of the game, I was pretty happy wrapping it up. Most of the platinum is just like get all the pieces of equipment, finish all the side quests, reach level 99, explore all the caves fully. Like it's just kind of going down the checklist and doing everything in the game, and none of that was super hard, which is great. And I like getting through a game like this in, under 10 hours and doing everything. So I moved on to Cat Quest 2, which most notably looks way better than the first game. I know the first game did pretty well. Do you know
how much time difference there was between the releases?
Is it? I think it was 2 years, 3 years, something like that. I think Cat Quest 3 comes out later this year, so there's a couple of years between. You run into the developers on a secret island in the first game, and there's only 3 of them. So it does seem the developers are called the Gentle Bros. Nice. So it does genuinely seem like a pretty small team. This one's notable too, though. Cat Quest 2 is because there's 2 characters. You can play it as co-op. One's a cat, one's a dog. Or if you're playing solo, you just hit the triangle button to switch between the 2 of them. You're equipping both of them. You are equipping spells to both of them. This game is a little bit harder than the first one, but it's actually a little bit easier because the second character, if you're not playing co-op, just attacks and uses magic whenever they can. So you have a little bit of kind of free extra damage by itself there. And largely it's just kind of the first game all over again. It feels a little bit better play. It's a little bit more challenging. Enemies have ranged attacks now, which is something to keep an eye out for. And there are, I think, 3 difficulties this time. The first game, I don't think, had any difficulty options. This one is like normal, hard, and there's a story mode, which is basically... Story mode is pretty honest about like, hey man, you're just going to kind of walk right through the game. Which I appreciate, especially if it's something that's going to be co-op. Like, you want something, an experience that's really, really straightforward and pretty easy, Cat Quest 2 is going to have your back. So I think I've only played maybe about 2 hours. I'm already like level 27 or something. Like, these games move really... It's the polar opposite of the thing that Moon was talking about with Starfield. Like, you complete a side quest, it's giving you at least a level or two. Like you kill 2 or 3 enemies, it's giving you about a quarter of a level. Like you're moving through this game pretty quickly. So it's been pretty great. I'm really looking forward to playing it. I've been really enjoying it because of how easy lifting this game is. It's just, you're going to be doing a lot of hack and slashing. You're going to be doing a lot of dodge rolling. I just got an upgrade, so my dodge roll hurts enemies now. So as you're rolling through them, it hurts them. And it's just, they're simple and fun games. I like them. So, Cat Quest 2. Continuing to play more Pacific Drive, trying to get my PC save up to where my PS5 save is. I did the Moon will remember this, the first mission in Sierra, where you do like the big launch at the end. So I've done that, and I've gotten to the point. Basically, once you finish that mission, the game is just like, yeah, do some more runs. And after a couple more runs, they're like, all right, you need to go back there. So I'm at that point where I need to go back there. I did. If anyone didn't listen to our Game Club episode for this,
you all should really play this.
Yeah, you should really play this. But
on the PC.
I'm just waiting for them to fix it on PS5. That's all.
I'm keeping a very close eye on, because I'm like right at the end on PS5. I think if I remember correctly, there's 21 missions. I've completed like 18 of them. I'm like right there. One of the coolest systems in this game is the quirk system, because your car is kind of alive and kind of not. And quirks is basically like, I think Moon, you described it really well when we did the Game Club, of like how old cars can be weird. Like they prefer something, or you shouldn't do something, or they just work in a weird way.
And only you know it because you've been driving that car for 4 years.
Right. So this has a quirk system. I got the one that you got. This is the first time I got it, where turning the wheel dims the lights. And that was... my wife was watching me play, and I was just like, oh, of course. I just started a run, and I got... you pull out of the garage, and you take a left, and you go start your run. As soon as I started driving, as soon as I got into the actual area itself, I noticed it. And I was like, great, I don't have off-road tires. All of the gateways are in a really terrible spot. This is going to be really bad. Thankfully, I was able to kind of go through that run as fast as possible and get through there as fast as I could. But I had to mention that I did that, and that was a little bit of a rough run. I think there is one complaint that I forgot to leverage when we talked about on Game Club, and that is, it's kind of the nature of it. Pacific Drive is trying to tell a story, and I think it largely does a really good job at it. And through the nature of the story, you're never meeting another person. You might in the end, but I don't know. I haven't finished it. But I think one of the biggest problems with this game is that you see it in Sierra, and you see it in a late game mission where you eventually have to break into a lab. But because you're always driving a car, everything is basically car-shaped and car-sized. So a lot of it is I'm breaking this lab, and it's this cavernous, huge thing that you're driving from one lab station to another. And it's I get what you're going for, and I appreciate that you're trying to tell this story, but maybe you don't need to do as much of this story stuff as you're doing, because sometimes it can be a little bit goofy. Not in a bad way, but just sort of maybe the story is a little bit bigger than the game you're trying to play, or you're trying to make. I'm also watching this gameplay of this person that's playing, and they are not parking their car every time they are getting out of it, and it's making my skin itch a little bit.
I noticed they might have the thing I have.
They might have the thing I have where when you get out of the car, it just parks itself automatically.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the auto park. Yeah. So they might have that, but I feel like you learn that lesson very quickly where you're like, all right, back to my car, and it's just rolling down a hill as you're walking towards it. And it's like, okay, cool. It's going to turn out very well for me. All right.
Or we may see that in this video here in a moment where all of a sudden he can't find his car.
Yep. One of my worst times in this game starting it was, so the enemies, quote unquote enemies in this game are called anomalies.
It is limited combat. We probably should say that. Like, we didn't really,
almost none.
There's no combat. It's just effects that will have on you.
And one of the most common anomalies are the tourists. They are mannequins that are kind of peppered around the map. If you run into them, they explode. If you turn your back on them, sometimes they'll move and get closer to you, which is still terrifying.
It's the coil head from Lethal Company. It's the Weeping Angels,
but like very slow. So you're like, did that one move? No, it couldn't have. And then you're like, turn back around, and it's like pointing at you, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that's the worst. One of my first early failures was not parking my car and it rolling down a hill into a field of tourists and 30 of them exploding and just stuff flying off my car, and be like, oh, okay, great. I learned that lesson in the worst way possible. Cool. But I'm still having a blast. I went through on the PC and I turned the quality of the side and rear view mirrors down pretty significantly, all the way down to medium. Boy, a dream. The frame rate impact that has on the game, like, jeez,
that's literally, I think that's what I said on the Game Club episode. I was like, I'm not using my mirrors, so I just turned those reflections all the way down.
Yeah, it made a huge difference. And like, I use the mirror sometimes, but not often enough for it to do like ultra quality shadows in my mirrors. Like, that stuff shouldn't be on by default. Like, this game just defaulted to ultra out of the gate for literally everything, and turning that stuff down to medium still makes the game look really good, but also makes it run like a dream. And I'm playing it through Steam Deck and Moonlight. So, sorry, Moonlight and Sunshine via my Steam Deck. So, Pacific Drive is still really great. I'm trying to play through it as much as I can to get back to where I am, but kind of playing like a run at a time, because sometimes some of those can take a little bit of time. And I'm just having a blast. Go check out Pacific Drive if any of Pacific Drive. If like a spooky first-person driving, crafting SCP game sounds interesting to you, that has like an FTL roguelike sort of element to it, if that sounds cool to you, Pacific Drive is really cool. Sorry. Favorite Chat says, did you get a Steam Deck? No, I my Steam Link. Apologies. I don't have a Steam Deck. Maybe whenever they come out with a new Steam Deck, maybe I'll get that.
They're supposed to be coming out with another version soon.
Asus announced, or there's rumors out about the new, what's their version? The Ally, I think is their version. Sure. There's some specs out for their new one, which looks really good. But then I was like, oh, maybe I'll buy that. I like Asus's stuff. And then the price is like $900. It's like, well, never mind. I'm not gonna go get that. So Pacific Drive continues to be really great. Highly recommended. I'm hoping to finish it at some point, because I think this game's cool. And hopefully they fix it on the PS5 so I can get the platinum, because I'd like to do all those like goofy runs.
I really want an Xbox release of this, because I want that full game to score.
I'm hoping someday, when the like exclusivity window, if there is one, hopefully when that's over, get an Xbox version. So fingers crossed. Last but not least here for me is Picross S Namco Legendary Edition. This is the one we talked about in releases last week. This is sort of, for better or for worse, is just the same game that Jupiter has been making, the kind of Picross S games they've been making. It is very reminiscent of the kind of Mega Drive Genesis one that they made, which is just, we're making a bunch of puzzles, and they're all Namco themed. They're all like Namco characters or pickups, or I'm doing the clip Picross one, which is like every couple of puzzles you do, you get a little piece of a really big puzzle. You can probably guess what the very popular Namco character is. That is the very first one that you can get from that one.
Snake.
Yeah, Solid Snake. The very, very... So, like, for better or for worse, they're kind of making the same games that they always do, which I really like, because I think they make some of the best Picross games on the market. And I think especially for these games, the tutorials are always really, really good. I think that's often the hardest part to get right in these games, is really how do we get people into the genre when it on the surface seems kind of inscrutable, of just like, here's a grid and there's a bunch of numbers, and what does 1 1 2 2 3 mean? It's just like the tutorial teaches that to you, and for each of the different modes, like Mega Picross, Color Picross, and stuff, they have individual tutorials for those too. So I think these are really great. I actually really like, in the background of the puzzle, there are Namco characters sort of in the, like, moving from across the screen and interacting with each other. They actually did a really good job at getting the CRT filter right on those characters. Like, it looks the right way that they would look on, like, an arcade monitor, and even with the light
that
bleed
kind of bloom look, and
like that light bleed bloom kind of look. Like, they did a really good job at making those look really good. So if you're interested, these are really good. I don't know if you're a super Namco fan, maybe this is the one you start with. If you're not and you want to play a Picross game, kind of look for whichever one of these are on sale, because I think they go on sale semi-frequently. But these continue to be really great. And sort of fortunately and unfortunately, not a lot to talk about there, because it's just like another 151 of these puzzles and this, and they're all really great. So that's Picross S Namco Legendary Edition. Whew. Can't get any of these titles right this week. All right, that's all I've been playing this week. Let's take a break. Oops.
Yep. Hey, Boston.
Yes.
There's a Cat Quest 3 that came out this year.
I thought it was coming out August.
I don't know when it comes out. I just know it comes out this year.
I'm looking forward to it because it looks like you are sailing. Yeah, August 8th. It looks like it's a lot of like sailing pirate stuff in it.
You know who publishes that game?
I do not, actually.
Kepler. You know what else Kepler publishes?
Pacific Drive?
Yep.
There you go. Big Kepler fan over here.
Look at you supporting the studio.
Yeah, let's look what else Kepler published here.
They've only been around since 2022. They published Sifu, Scorn, Tachaya, Ultros, Pacific Drive, Cat Quest 3, and Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn.
Dang.
It is a publisher founded by, it's co-owned by a group of indie game developers.
Yeah,
okay.
Ultros is a big hit for them this year too.
Dude, Sifu, 2022.
Yeah, Sifu, Chia was a big hit too. Scorn probably didn't do what they wanted it to.
No, but they had to know going in that wasn't going to be a widely available game for lots of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also Scorn was a timed exclusive for the Xbox, so that gives me hope for Pacific Drive.
That's true. Yeah, good on you, Kepler. Doing great. Who works at Kepler that I know? It doesn't really say.
Yeah, I can't see any of the quote-unquote independent developers behind it. It just says it's owned by a bunch of indie devs.
Yeah. Interesting.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Are you okay?
I googled Xbox Pacific Drive. That's how I got to Kepler's thing, yo. Do you know what the header is on the webpage for PacificDriveGame.com?
Mm-mm.
Pacific Drive dash Drive to Survive.
Oh, that's really
Heck
good.
yeah.
Also, they have a white label publishing arm that published Eternites.
Really?
I don't know that
That's
name.
wild.
Because that was the JRPG that came out last year that was a mini Persona kind of game.
Mm-hmm.
Mini Persona
Interesting.
style. 'Cause you didn't have actual personas or something like that, but
Yeah, they basically financially backed the Eternites dev. Interesting.
I hope they also get a chance to release something new.
Yeah, I like that. I like that developer, and I think they came out of that game saying, like, I wanted to keep my first game solo developed, but now that this is a hit, I think I need to make more stuff. So hopefully they get a cool team together that they can make more good stuff. All right, what time is? Oh, it's 4:30. Okay, let's do releases and a news story, and then let's get out of here. Jeez. All right, are you guys ready?
Yeah.
We have a field of questions here, but I'm gonna save those probably for next week.
They're just gonna keep building. They're just gonna keep building.
Favor says, according to
mailbag
Kepler's
episode.
website, each developer who publishes through them is part owner of the publisher. That's a great idea. I like it.
That they just need to be the way it is now.
Yeah, for like indie developers and publishers to survive, you gotta all band together. Thanks, Embracer.
Mm-hmm.
Kepler is literally doing Embracer's stuff. Like it is embracing each other. That's what they're doing.
That's right. In a warm hug instead of the warm hug of capitalism.
That is true.
Yeah. Okay. You guys ready?
Yep.
Sure. I'm trying to find the studios behind this, but I'm not finding it. But whatever. I imagine it's just everybody who was in that thing.
It seems like it, yeah. All right. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of June 3rd, 2024. Starting off with Destiny 2, The Final Shape, coming out PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series consoles, and PC. I accidentally put Switch on there. Whoops. Nope. Sorry.
Don't forget the most important release, Google Stadia. Come on.
That's right. Yeah. If Stadia was still around, Final Shape would definitely be coming out on there. Yeah, I'm against all odds pretty excited about this release. I think the Into the Light stuff that they did, the free kind of horde mode and other stuff, I think did a lot for my excitement for Final Shape coming up. And they're kind of their cutscene that ended this season, leading directly into the next thing, did a lot of just like, oh yeah, that's right, we did do that incredibly cool thing 4 months ago. Yeah. Oh yeah. I want to see where that's going. They did also in the trailer we have playing here. You get to hear Keith David for the first time as Zavala, doing a really good job. Obviously, Keith David's going to kill it. Vice President Keith David always kills it. But like him kind of stepping into this role, it sounds like he's doing the character in an interesting way. So we'll talk about that next week as I dive into it. Yeah,
I hate the algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
Because I got fed a reaction video of someone reacting to Crow fighting somebody.
Yes. That was the end of
like
season cutscene.
The most recent season. And I was like, wait, was that who I think it was?
Yeah, that's Cade. Not Back from the Dead, don't worry.
Okay. Yeah. Was he just fighting his personal demons?
No, so that was a different season. But basically, at the end of last season, we sent Crow through a portal, essentially, into the Traveler, the big white ball thing that's hanging out above the tower. Essentially sent him in there to go fight the Witness, which is the big smoky head guy, the big bad guy. And that was the cutscene that played when we eventually stopped what was blocking him from going in there. He landed in there and runs in a cave at the beginning, and it seems to be a lot of allies that have passed away through the last 10 years in Destiny may be inside of the Traveler in some form or fashion.
So he is literally keeping their ghosts, not their little ghosts, but their actual ghosts.
And maybe they're little ghosts. I'm not sure. But it's interesting because a lot.
Is that why they're called ghosts?
I don't think we know, actually. Someone would know. But that's part of the interesting thing that Bungie has been showing off for Final Shape is a lot of everything in the Traveler is like morphed and twisted. Like a lot of what they've shown is combat spaces that take place in the original tower from Destiny 1, but it's all overgrown. It's like kind of cracked and morphed. So it'll be interesting to see what the inside of the Traveler really looks like as kind of your memories are kind of messed with. So, but talk about that next weekend after I get through. Hopefully the launch is solid this week. Fingers crossed. Next game we have here, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. The game comes out PS5, Series consoles, and PC. This is a game that I forgot was actually going to come out. This is an asymmetric multiplayer game.
Yep, I'm good.
Yeah, you kind of think of something like Dead for Daylight, and you kind of have the right idea here.
Dead by Daylight, bro. Okay.
What?
Dead by Daylight, bro. Okay.
What did I say?
Dead for Daylight. It's a vampire game, dude.
I know.
And that just got cancelled.
Yeah.
Well, development just ceased on that game.
Can't keep it together here. Yeah, but that's kind of the thing. I saw someone comment today. Someone on YouTube under one of these Killer Clowns videos said, "Man, I really wish there was a game like this that could just have long-term support and like a bunch of DLC and a bunch of characters and stuff." And everyone's like, "That's literally Dead by Daylight." And their response was, "Yeah, but it's old as hell." And I was like, "Yeah, that's why it has a bunch of DLC and long-term support."
You just asked.
Like, what are you talking about, bro?
They got new versions released for the new consoles.
Right. It looks better than ever. Like, wild. Anyways, this looks fine. The reviews for this so far have been actually pretty good. I've seen a lot of like 7 and 8 out of 10s for this, saying like the gameplay is pretty good and the flow of it feels pretty good, which I'm honestly kind of surprised about, because every time I see a licensed asymmetrical multiplayer game, it seems like it's not going to be very good. So interesting. We'll see where that
Boston.
goes. Yes.
What's older? Time for quiz of the week from
quiz of the week.
What's older? Destiny 2 or Dead by Daylight?
Destiny 2 is reaching its 10th. No, Destiny 2 is reaching its 7th year.
I thought it was actually longer than that, really.
It's Destiny's 10th anniversary. I bet Dead by Daylight is older.
Nim, do you want to chime in?
I would have said Destiny 2.
Yeah.
Dead by Daylight is older by a year. Dead by Daylight is almost 10 years old. It's a year and a half away from 10 years old.
Good.
Man.
Nice.
Yeah, good for them. Like, developers and publishers can only dream of just, here's a good game that we just get to support forever and people love it. Like, how can you?
But also, like, it's big enough to where they can go to license holders and be like, "Yo, we want to license your thing to put in this game," and Disney's like, "Sure, put the Xenomorph in there."
That's right.
And
you can do
whoever is like, "Sure, put Chucky in there."
And it reminds me, there's
put everybody in there.
There's a Dungeons and Dragons collaboration coming to Destiny 2 next week, alongside the Dungeons and Dragons collaboration that's coming to Dead by Daylight. So Wizards of the Coast just getting it out there, getting it out everywhere.
Anywho, dude, they fired everybody so they could license out their stuff. That's what they did.
Yeah, why? Thanks, capitalism. Only news story we have this week: Sony Sony showed their state of
Is
play.
state of play worth my time or not?
No, absolutely not. We're going to talk about Astrobot because that's the most important thing. Actually, Monster Hunter Wilds had a really cool trailer that I think is really cool if you... It's even better if you play Monster Hunter, because the amount of people that are like, oh my god, you get to do X, Y, and Z with this A, B, and C weapon, and so I can't believe this thing. Yeah, you'll probably like it. It's only 2 or 3 minutes long. It's a pretty short trailer. It was a solid state of play. I don't think I would recommend it for a lot of people. There's a lot of smaller games. There's a lot of indie games. You'll be surprised. There are a couple of third-person action games in there. Shocker of all shocks.
Speaking of
games.
Yeah. But most importantly, they announced the long-rumored full Astrobot PS5 game, which...
This is how I know I follow the right people on what few social media sites I look at anymore. Because my entire timeline was like, yo, Astrobot!
That's right.
The entire, afterwards.
Yeah. And they didn't really have to go crazy with this game. They could have just made another Astrobot like they did with the pack-in one and been fine. Except they're just like, yeah, man, here's 50 worlds. We're making a giant platformer game. Yes, 5-0. We're making a giant platformer. Like, this thing's gonna be big. So I'm real excited because that the PS5 Astrobot's Playroom is really great, and for them to make a full-length one of these is very, very, very exciting. I showed this trailer to my kid, and her jaw was open for the entire, 3.5 minutes of the trailer of just we're getting that, right? And I was like, yeah, 100%. Absolutely.
Did I just see Astrobot flying a PlayStation 5?
In space. Yep. Sure did. Okay.
Now that explains the shape of the thing, at least.
It looks like a ship, so...
I mean, that was the cool part about Playroom, was there was always this kind of, fun playfulness with the hardware, kind of like a reverence, but also a fun with what hardware they had in the game. And it seems like they're kind of extending that to some of this other stuff. So, this looks super good. They don't even need to show any footage, and I'm like, yes, I will purchase what you're coming out with. Also, sort of surprised they're not doing any sort of remaster or revamp of the original VR one, but what I've been seeing, people were saying that the original game was really dependent on the PSVR 1's controllers, so you'd kind of have to redo the entire thing. And at this point, PSVR 2 isn't selling, so that juice probably isn't worth the squeeze in any regard. So don't blame them there. So September 6th, 2024, coming out. Astrobot. This game needed more Game of the Year contenders. Thank you so much. Thanks, Sony. Appreciate it. And thank you very much for listening to this episode. We greatly appreciate it. We're going to save all of our questions here for another week, or for an inevitable mailbag episode, because we'll just keep scrolling some of that stuff away. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Everywhere to find and follow us is on the right-hand side of the page. Don't forget to come join our Discord server, discord.tvgp.tv. It's the best community on the internet. Everybody's super cool. Everyone's just chatting, talking about junk food mostly, and where to get the coolest new flavors of pop that we're running into and racing out to buy. And don't forget to hit us up over at patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones and numbers.
Talked about all the cool stuff you get at the Fun for a $5 a month tier at the beginning of the show. Your support helps us pay for hosting and all of that stuff, because that stuff is just everything on the internet is getting so much more expensive. So your support helps me pay for hosting all of these files, which I greatly appreciate. And if you can't support us financially, totally understand. Check out the YouTube channel. We're putting everything that goes on the public feed. We have a video version there, even if we won't live stream it. So go check on that. Like, comment, subscribe, share all of that stuff. The more people we get over there, the more cool stuff we can make, and hopefully the more people that support us on Patreon. And don't forget to review the show wherever you can on your podcatcher of choice. Those ratings really, really, really help not only this show but any podcast you listen to. Those kind of juice the algorithm quite a bit. So as much as we can, try to game the algorithm. I think that's it. So we'll see you all next week. Bye.
Bye.
Oh boy. All right. Nimp, what are your titles?
I have Back on My MD, and There Will Forever Be a Betrayal, Beware of the Terramorphs, Everything is Locked, and The Bird is the Word.
Moon, what do you have?
Back on my MD, 3 Caterpillars Almost Killed Me, Waveform of My Life, Space in the Game, Inventory of Gubbins, A Healthy Dose of Karma, and Time is a Disease.
I have Back on My MD, Final Fantasy VIII Would Never, The Surprise Emote, A Healthy Dose of Karma, and Hey, It's Me, Xbox.
I really like Waveform of My Life and A Healthy Dose of Karma. This is very appropriate.
I like
also,
A Healthy
you started
Dose
laughing before I'd even started that story. You were laughing because you knew where it was going.
I do like A Healthy Dose of Karma. Any other week, I feel like I would vote for Final Fantasy VIII Would Never or Hey, It's Me, Xbox. But I think the Karma title is clicking with me a little bit more.
It's not
than
one
the
we
others.
used before, right?
Oh, I don't think so. Hold on. Sir TVGP
I can't, dude,
Karma.
it's 867 episodes. There's a chance.
Yeah, I mean, like, it doesn't look like we've used that. I should start a spreadsheet of just episode title names.
I thought you already had one.
Surprisingly not. No.
Okay.
You know what that means? If you start a spreadsheet for it, you know what that means we can do, right?
What's that?
The ranking of episode titles.
That might be where I draw the line.
800. No, okay. How about we do a tier list of episode titles, and they just go into different tiers.
That'll be episode 1000. It's just a 17-hour episode of tier listing all of these titles.
And then community ranked tier listing episode.
That's right. Pharaoh in chat says he has a spreadsheet of spreadsheets he needs to start. Now I'm just starting a SQL database, and now everything my free time is just done.
I have post-it notes full of stuff I need to start.
You have a physical database.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. It sounds like A Healthy Dose of Karma is our title.
Yep, I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 867 for June 3rd, 2024. A Healthy Dose of Karma.
I didn't even get my told you so.
Sometimes you just need it shoved down your throat.
Phrasing.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening and watching. We greatly appreciate it. We hope we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.